So in this lesson we're going to be looking at how to protect a worksheet. To do that, I've reopened my lessons spreadsheet. I'm going to click on the plus, so I've created a new sheet, double click, and we're going to call this protecting worksheets. Then what I'm going to do is go to the top left hand corner, select the whole sheet, and I'm going to alter the global column width to 50 and then the global row height to 50 as well. None of that should be new, we've done that a few times now. Now I'm going to choose some cells, so I've chosen C3 and I'm going to put a border around C3. And then I'm going to do the same thing here with E3 and finally here with G3. Now I want this all to stand out, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the whole sheet again and I'm going to fill the background completely black. Now I've got to remember where my cells are at the moment. I'm going to click on cell B2, hold the mouse button down and drag across. Now I know I got to G3, so I'm going to H4, I'm going to stop there and I'm going to fill this with a light yellow. Now what I'm going to do is, what I want to have happen is I'm going to get the user to put a number in there and put a number in there, and then the result will come here. The result of what? Well, we're going to put an X in here. I'm then going to center that X and I'm going to enlarge it. And I'm going to put an equal sign in here. Now, here's a fun thing with Excel. If I want to use the equal sign within the text, if I press enter, it doesn't know quite what to do. So the way sometimes to get around that problem is to put a single quote mark and then the equals. Then Excel absolutely knows what to do. It knows it's now text. So I'm now going to place that where I need it to be. Now as you saw, when I put the equal sign, it accepted it as an equal sign, but if I put equals with anything after it, it would have treated it as a calculation. So it's better to be safe than sorry. That single quote, which you can now see in the formula bar, tells Excel that this is all text. Ignore whatever anything else you think, it's text. So just checking on my X is 18, so I'm going to increase this to size 18. Now I'm using the increase button, but I could quite easily have selected it off of this drop down list. It would have done the same thing. I want the answer to come here, and I want it to be quite apparent it's different to everything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change its color to that light blue. This is where I want the user to put their data into, so I'm going to make that really clear by setting this to white, and same thing with this. So we've got a series of cells now where we could put numbers in, and it's really easy. We're going to do this times this, so all I'm going to do is put this, click on this cell here, do the star symbol, and then click on this cell here. I'm going to press enter, and obviously there's nothing in there. Rather than Excel generate an error, it calculates it as 0. Let's make sure that that is 18 and that is also centered. Now we haven't put anything into here, but we could do. Our calculation works. We want to make sure that those are centered and those are also 18. But it works. But notice, I can click anywhere. There's nothing to force me to put any data there, and I could quite easily go to the formula and see the formula. And I don't want them to do that. I don't want the user to be able to do that. I want them to just enter data there and there. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to take this cell first. I'm going to use my right hand mouse button and I'm going to go down to an option that says Format Cells. Now, we've not really talked about this menu, but this menu is called a context menu. That means that everything you see on this menu is related to what you have clicked on. It is in context. Unlike the menus at the top, which are general, they are there and they might grey out and everything else, but you'll see them. The only things you'll see when you right click is related to whatever you've right clicked on. And so in this case, one of the things that makes sense is that I can format the cells. Now, we've seen this before. We saw number, we used alignment, we've used the font, we've looked at the border control, and we've used the fill. What we've never used is the protection. And notice that every cell you click on is protected. It's got a locked marker ticked to tell you that this cell is locked. Well, clearly it's not locked because I can click on it, but it tells you locking cells or hiding formulas has no effect until you protect the worksheet, which is what we're going to do in a moment. But I don't want this cell to be protected. This is the one I don't want to have locked. So I'm going to remove the tick. So by default, cells are locked. So you need to choose the cells that you don't want to have locked. So again, gone to that one, right clicked, format cells, protection, remove the tick, click OK. Now we're ready. So I can still click everywhere, every single cell is approachable, but these two are now unlocked. I'm going to click over here just so we can see that that's there. I'm now going to go to the Review tab. I'm going to go to Protect Sheet. Now what I've got is allow all users of this worksheet to, and I've got select locked cells or select unlocked cells. I can also allow them to format cells or do lots of other things, but at the moment all I want them to do is put a number into these. So all I'm going to let them do is keep the tick, allow all users of this worksheet to select unlocked cells. And if I really want to protect this, I can enter a password in here. I'm not going to, no, in fact we will do. Let's put the word password in. There you go. Remember, the most important thing to do, and I really mean this, is to remember the password. If you are one of those people that easily forgets them, make sure you write this down somewhere, because it's really difficult to remove it once it's in place. So now I've got that. This says protect worksheet and contents of locked cells. I've got this in place at the moment. The password is password, all lowercase. I'm going to click on, that's a really bad password by the way, but we'll let it go now. And I'm going to click on OK. I'm going to re-enter password. It's guaranteeing I'm not being foolish. So password. And if I forget this, if you lose or forget the password, it cannot be recovered. It's really warning you, and it is incredibly difficult to remove them. So we click on OK. Notice I had a cell selected over here, but now it's jumped to there. I can't click over here. I can't click anywhere except there and there. I can try all I like. I can try to select columns. I can try to select rows. None of it works. But I can click in there and I can change the number. And when I press the tab key, that's the key on the left hand side above your caps lock. That's got an arrow, two arrows, one pointing to the left, one pointing to the right, and they're pointing towards a brick wall in all intents and purposes. And that's a good way of jumping from cell to cell. And I can change that. And now I've got myself a rather simple calculator. So that's how you lock cells. That's how you protect the worksheet. How do you unprotect it? Well, I go to unprotect. This asks me for the password. Click on OK. And now I can get to the sheet. I can now click anywhere I like. How do I protect it? I go back to there, password's gone, I have to reissue the password, and I can set what I want people to be able to do. So I'm going to cancel that now. We've got that. We've seen how to protect this sheet. In fact, we will end by not putting a password in, but simply clicking on OK, and now this sheet is protected. In the next video, we're going to be looking at how to restrict data in cells. See you in the next video.